What's up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and we are here with a video to talk about finding the perfect form. Now, we are not necessarily talking about a specific move on the table. We're talking about lifting and PRs. If you've seen our Instagram lately, we did a video. We've got this new theme, good idea, bad idea. So we did one based on max efforts, and we've talked a lot about max efforts and about not accepting shitty form and all that, and we rag on people a lot for form. So what do we mean by that, and how do we judge the form? So that's what we want to do in this video, is talk about how we establish what good and bad form is, and how we've translated what we've learned from powerlifting over to arm wrestling to do that, right?
Right. So before we go and show you how we exercise with good form, we're gonna try to use the table as a guide first, right? So we're gonna find perfect form on the table, and then we can use that to replicate what we're gonna do when we're lifting.
And again, since we're not talking about a specific move, we're just talking about a start position, which every time you go and perform a PR, again, like we always talk, you want the lifts to relate to the table, and the matches all start in the same spot. So we kind of under the feeling and impression that a lot of the lifts should start from that kind of same spot where the match is starting from. So like Alex said, you find that good form. So the way we teach it is same foot forward as the arm that you're arm wrestling with, and hip to the table, and then elbow on the pad inside your body, and then you want your chin and your knuckles in line, and your chin above your hand. So you don't want to be slouched down too much and like that. That can maybe be specific for a certain move later, but again, we want this like universal start position, and then last thing is shoulders are square. So this is legal, this is going to work in any league, and this is also going to give you access to pretty much every move on the hill. And then again, if you want to, as you specify those moves, you might adjust that a little bit, but this is the starting point you want to start from. And then as we said, we relate all this to powerlifting, and why I'm wearing this shirt, talking about Mark Smelly Bell, who is inspiration for both of us, somebody that we both looked up to a lot early on in our powerlifting career.
So when I said fuck you and fuck your elbow, I mean it. Fuck you and fuck your elbow. And that's it from supertraining.tv. Later.
And one of the ways he approaches teaching people the main three lifts is by reverse engineering the lift. So that's what we want to show you and what we want to work with a couple lifts. Mainly you're talking about either back pressure lifts or side pressure lifts when you're talking in arm wrestling. So those are the two lifts that we're going to talk about, right?
Right, so if you're going to do... All right, so just to relate this back to Mark Bell once again, this is something that he used to teach with the deadlift, reverse engineering from shit form to good form. So what he would teach is, you grab the bar from the bottom, your legs are straight, your back is rounded over, and then you're going to start applying tension into the bar, and then use that to pull yourself into position, feel all the muscles firing, and then use that to then drive through to finish the rep. So this is the same kind of technique that we're going to use with arm wrestling lifts, starting in bad form, pulling yourselves into good form to create tension, and then we start the rep. So first exercise we're going to do is an over the riser knuckle back pressure lift. Starting right now in the worst possible form possible to apply any kind of tension. His wrist is gone, his arm is opened up. So we're going to reverse engineer this position, starting with the wrist, getting that locked in, and then the arm gets tighter and inside the body. Now he's created tension in the muscles and he's ready to fire for that rep, and everything stays intact. And the good thing about starting from the shitty position is you become well aware of what bad form would be if it starts to fail. And if you feel that wrist or elbow failing, that you know that the rep is a fail. All right, so moving on to a side pressure lift. You can see that Jason's arm is way outside of his shoulder. He's turned away from his arm. This would be a horrible position for you to start any kind of side pressure movement. So he's gonna start with the wrist, getting the wrist pulled in, and now he's gonna pull his arm inside his body. Now he's got tension in the wrist, shoulder, pec, everything ready to go, and he can fire that rep with everything intact. And again, you know what's not supposed to fail. Wrist, shoulder. If something fails, it's too much weight. Fail it. Put the weight down, check the ego at the door,
All right, guys, yeah, so quickly, basically in conclusion, the idea of reverse engineering your form is something you can pretty much apply to any lift or almost any kind of movement. So you can even do it with, if you have a good practice partner on the table, you know, if there's a position that you find yourself always getting into, maybe figuring out how you're getting there by sort of reverse engineering, figuring out what are the fundamentals that you're losing, all that kind of thing, because the most important thing that you're trying to find is the fail point. That was the point of all those lifts is okay, if I'm going to the side, either I'm going to start losing my hand, depending on the lift I'm doing through my hand, or I'm going to start losing my shoulder. Those are basically the two areas that I'm going to start to fail at. And once you hit that fail point, that's it, that's the lift. Like, that's your PR, you know? And if it's back pressure, it's, again, hand or elbow. That's basically how we're judging it, right? But the point of reverse engineering is to find your fail points. And you can do that with pretty much any lift, right?
Yeah, totally. Every lift works. They just gave you a couple examples, but totally apply this to anything to make sure that you've got the right tension in the right places before you do the rep. It'll feel a lot better when you do it, and you'll be able to connect to the arm wrestling chains a lot better as well. So if you like the video, comments, subscribe, all those things.
Smash the bell, and
Monkeys out.
peace.
We got a question about the central nervous system. My favorite question of all time. Actually, it's not a question. Just a guy talking shit. And I know I probably should never respond to these, but I can't help myself. The old wrestler inside of me wants to respond to a lot of these things. Anyway, this guy, in a not so very nice way, says, you know, how I'm an idiot. Which he's correct. Let's face it. We all know that, don't we? So that's not news. But he says I'm an idiot because I'm ignoring pain, ignoring elbow pain, and ignoring fatigue, and ignoring the central nervous system. And I'm not listening to my body. And I'm going to end up in a wheelchair with a nurse pushing me around. Well, guess what, my friend? We are all heading there. We will all die. We will all be in a lot of pain. It's all coming our way. It's inevitable. It's part of life. But in the meantime, you might as well be a fucking savage and live your life the way you want to live. And you might as well put your best effort and your best foot forward and train like a motherfucker. I fell with 1,080 on my back. And I got up and I walked away on my own. One of my training partners tried to carry me off. He said, "Here, rest on my shoulder." I said, "Get the fuck away from me." And the reason is because I walk and stand on my own 2 feet. I'm a man. That's what I do. So for you, you know, you're trying to take the easy route, and you're trying to find excuses why you shouldn't be training, and you're trying to find science and research and stupid shit like that about the central nervous system so you can miss a workout or two. You're taking the easy way out. What did Jerry Rice used to do? Jerry Rice used to run hills and catch bricks. Jerry Rice used to do warm-ups that would make other athletes puke. That was stupid, right? Because there was no science behind it. And Jerry Rice only lasted 20 plus years in the NFL. So when I said fuck you and fuck your elbow, I mean it. Fuck you and fuck your elbow. And that's it from supertraining.tv.